Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to the shop tonight. But we're going to show y'all tonight how to fill some bottles. There's a bunch of different ways to do it. None of them are right, none of them are wrong. You can do it however you like, whatever's easier for you. This is just what I've found is the easiest way for me and the amount of bottles I go through. Just the way I like to do it. So anyway, this is a nitrous bottle for the obviously that don't know. This is a 10-pound steel bottle, NOS bottle. It's got the high flow valve on it. I like the ones that have the gauge that'll tell you how much is in them without you having to turn the gauge on to your car or whatever else. I like this right here. If you got one sitting out in the sun or sitting, you know, somewhere where it probably shouldn't be, or even just in your hot tank or anything like that, it'll let you know if this thing's starting to get ready where it's going to pop. Something else that's good about these is it'll let you know that right now you can see this one is at it's got about 100 pounds, so it's empty. Pressure and fullness do not necessarily go together. So quick little lesson on this. Nitrous, when it goes in your motor, is a gas. When it's in this bottle, it is a liquid. So right now there's air in here, and you can just imagine, let's say this thing's down here close to the bottom, but from here down is liquid right now. So there's very little liquid, and you can tell that because the liquid is what actually has weight. So this bottle right now is just, if someone who's been around a lot, you can grab these bottles, you can feel, all right, she's low. But that's something to keep in mind, is that it's actually a liquid. Nitrous is in its liquid form. When you spray it into your motor, nitrous has such a low boiling point, so the air around you is literally hot enough to make it boil, just like water on your stove. And that boiling quickly turns that liquid nitrous into gas nitrous, which is what we want. The reason that nitrous makes power is because it has one extra oxygen molecule attached to it. So N2O, you know, nitrous oxide. The way we're going to do this is we're going to weigh these bottles to get them full, and that's how you're going to know that you got nitrous in there. It doesn't matter how much air is in there, because we're going to compress the air. Like I said, nitrous is a liquid. Liquids are not compressible. The air is what you're compressing. So what this gauge is showing you is how tight the air is in the top of this bottle. The reason I say that it doesn't exactly correlate one-to-one with how much nitrous is in here is because you heat air up and it expands, it's going to automatically make more pressure. So you can think about that. Your tires on a cold day, a couple pounds low. On a warm day, a couple pounds high. That's the same thing that happens inside this bottle. That's why we don't like them cooking out in the sun. This bottle in your trailer, when it's 60 degrees, and she's right, you set it outside on the hot asphalt in the hot sun, especially these metal bottles, these steel bottles, transfer heat really good. Next thing you know, this thing's sitting over here getting ready to pop. So with all that explained, I'm going to show you right now how to do it. So I'm trying to get you guys a good look here at this scale. This is a cheap scale from Harbor Freight. It is more than good enough for what we're going to do. 70 pounds max. They sell them all over for thousands of dollars, and if you're selling nitrous every day of your life, or you're that precise, you know, you can feel free to spend $1,000. These are like 20, 30, might be cheaper than that. I've had this one forever. It gets beat up in the trailer. I don't worry about it a bit, and I don't even fill my bottles all the way to the very tippity top. We've always got a heat source around, preferably not a torch, but electric heat source or water. And so we really don't need these things to be 100% topped off. And we're running 2 bottles in pretty much every car we've got. So we've got plenty of nitrous on board for what we're going to do. But with that being said, very simple. You can see here on the bottle, weight of cylinder and gas, 24, 12 ounces. That should be accounting for your nozzle too. Just the cylinder empties 1412, and the gas is 10 pounds, 10-pound bottle. We're 15.8 right now. So you can see right here, we got about a pound, a little change in there. But basically a pound of nitrous. So we're about to put 9 pounds of nitrous in this thing. So I'm gonna go over here and show y'all what my setup is and show y'all how I'm gonna do that. All right, guys, so you can see bottle on the scale in the floor. Doesn't have to be in the floor, but in the floor. Got my lines hooked up, and these are my 2 mother bottles. I buy nitrous locally from a gas supply company. They supply them for me. They bring them to the house and drop them off, so that makes it nice. As you can see, the one on the right is out. The one on the left is about to be out after this. I do not put my bottles in the freezer. If I have a bunch to do, or I would say my pump goes out, I'll throw them in the freezer. It definitely helps. It makes it a lot quicker. But I usually prefer just to throw, that's a little heating pad for the race car, and 4 nitrous bottles. One of the tabs is tore on it, and so I bought another one, and that one just stays right here. All I do is plug it right up, and with the mother bottles, as long as you're not going to plug it up for an hour or 2, you know, I plug it up, give it 5 or 6 minutes, and I'm ready to pump. Usually that makes enough of a pressure difference between the 2 bottles that it'll go ahead and get it 90% there, and then I'm going to let the NOS nitrous pump the rest. A lot of people will throw their little bottles in a freezer and then just gravity feed. So that's the term we use, is gravity feed, when you just use your mother bottle to go straight into your little bottle. No pump needed. You can obtain that by just freezing the little one and putting a heating pad on the big one. Sometimes you don't even need a heating pad on the big one, and you can get them just as good as I'm doing here. I did it like that for a long time. I just find that in a hurry, the pump works good, and I don't have a deep freezer in my trailer, so I just tend to do it this way. It's just easier for me. I have had good luck with the little NOS pumps. I have one rebuild kit for it, and if it messes up, I rebuild it. They're pretty simple, and like I said, long story short, this is what I've found to be the easiest way. So what we're going to do here, guys, is real simple. We're going to turn this on, pick this up, let it zero itself. 0. Like I said, we got our 16.2 right now. We knew that it was at 15. I believe it was 15.8 before. I'm going to go to 25 pounds. So 24 pounds is 24.12 is what they recommend. I got a few extra pounds on here because I've got my lead line and my cutoff kind of drooping down on the bottle. I usually just go to 25 pounds and call it good. So we're going to show you that right now. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to crack the mother bottle open. I've got it closed, getting hot, so you're going to hear it. Open that up nice. Next thing I'm going to do is open this bottle. A couple turns. And then you can see here on my pressure gauge, it's the same pressure that's in this side of the line. And I have this valve closed, so when I open this valve, we're going to start hearing the bottle fill. We'll see the scale move. So once you hear the fluid start slowing down, you'll hear that rush of fluid slow down. That means that the bottles are starting to reach equilibrium. They're both at the same pressure, and they're both around the same temperature. So we're going to see where this thing stops at here. I usually like to let it go as far as it will. Just pumping, just letting it flow, gravity flow. Alright, 21.3 is where it seems like it wants to stop. So we've got 4 pounds, right at 4 pounds to go. So the way that this works is, I have an airline in my trailer, all hooked up, plumbed through the floor, and it stays connected. I cut off valve here, so I just have to turn this, and this is air pressure in the line. You got a filter. You want to filter this stuff because these little pumps are really tight, with little air motors in them, and you really don't want to be working on them all the time. So like I said, here we go. So when you're pumping, one thing you're going to want to do is, especially with a pump, because the pump can overfill these bottles and overpressure them. A lot of times, what you'll see, your pump will be running and you're not at your weight yet, but your pressure will just be buried, or 1200, getting over the red. You don't want to see that. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to take your bottle and you're going to want to flip it upside down. So here, I'll show you one of these. You just want to grab the bottle and literally lay it on its side and flip it upside down. And what that'll do, that liquid nitrous is cold inside the bottle. So right now your liquid nitrous is, you're filling this bottle, you're almost there. You got this much liquid nitrous in it. This much is air, and that air is so hot that it's got a lot of pressure on it. Just like I said, sitting it out in the sun, as you're compressing that air, it's getting hot. When you flip the bottle, the liquid nitrous and the air will flop. So the air will go down here to the bottom where the metal of the bottle is nice and cold. That'll cool the air off, and at the same time, the liquid nitrous will go up here and get the top of the bottle where the metal's hot, and it'll cool the metal. So you'll kind of get this exchange of pressure differences. When you flip your bottle back upright and that cold air gets up here to your gauge, you'll see the pressure immediately drop off. Just something to think about, especially when you're pumping. If you hear the pump grunting down real hard, just be safe, guys. You always want to check your gauges. I like to check my gauge on my line. I also like to keep an eye on the gauge on the bottle. You don't ever want to just sit here and let the pump just fill one of these bottles. That thing can probably make, I don't know. I've seen guys bury the needles on these bottles over here trying to fill some little bottles, even these big bottles, but mostly littler bottles for motorcycles and stuff. These guys just sit here talking, get distracted, bury the needle, and it just scares me every time. So always keep that in mind. You can always flip your bottle over. I like to cut the pump off for a second, flip the ball over, get the pressure back down, and then start pumping again. I can guarantee you can get probably 25, 26 pounds of nitrous in this bottle if you really want to. Don't do it. The reason they want, the reason that they put the 24 on there is they know how much of the bottle is going to get filled up with nitrous, and it leaves you that air gap at the top to let it expand and contract and not, put yourself in harm's way. The more nitrous you put in here, the smaller that air gap gets, the less temperature it takes to really put a lot of pressure in the bottle, and it happens really quick, guys. So with that, I'm going to show y'all right now how to take one of these things apart after you're done filling. So when you're done, turn your valve off, come up here, turn your bottle off, make sure your bottle's tight. So at that point, you're going to just want to crack this line. You'll see that time it was nothing but air. Usually you'll get a lot of nitrous oxide coming out of there, and what it'll do is it'll be just smoke, and it'll make little ice crystals, and the little ice crystals are what burn you. That's nitrous is freezing the air, and that frost that's coming out, that's solid nitrous. When it touches your skin, it'll just burn you like no one's business. So after that, guys, what I like to do is I'll leave this connected to the bottle. I've got my mother bottle turned off, and I'm gonna just crack this back open for a minute and let it drain without anything. So look, you can see right there, a little nitrous starting to frost up on the nipple, and don't touch that. I mean, even that aluminum nut right there is just, it's so cold, guys. It'll stick to your fingers, peel your skin off, can really hurt you. Once you see that kind of quit pumping, everything's good, cut this line back off. You'll see that this has got water on it now. Once you see the water on it, usually good. That means it's above 32. It's no freezing on it. Pull that off, set your bottle to the side. I always recommend putting caps on all these just in case someone was to walk by and grab it by the nozzle, pick it up, crank it open. The thing will blow out your hand in a heartbeat. And like I said, that nitrous touches your skin, you're burned once again. That's the way my luck goes. So filled 4 bottles. That was the 4th bottle, and we just ran out of nitrous. Mother bottle ran out. That's one thing you can do with a pump that gravity feeding is not going to really give you the ability to do. I can sit here and let that thing run. That's what I'm going to do after we finish this. I'm going to let that thing run for a few minutes, really suck the last few pounds of nitrous out the bottom of the mother bottle. And if I can't get the last pound in like that, I'll take the cap off the other mother bottle and switch them over. I'm sure there's still a little bit left in the bottom of it, just because I don't always get the last, pound and a half out or whatever. But that gives you a good understanding of how this works and what my setup is. Like I said, nothing wrong with gravity feeding, and this is just a easy way to do it for me. If you're thinking about doing a nitrous setup and you're thinking about filling your own bottles, I will say it's relatively cheap, and once you get good at it, it doesn't take you but a few minutes to do it. Especially if you're going to be racing a lot, because you go through nitrous pretty fast once you start getting into this sport. But you have to remember, it takes a pretty big air compressor. So my onboard air compressor on the trailer is about a 30 gallon, and it takes at least that, I would say. Right now I'm plugged up to shop air at the shop, so got a nice big 120 gallon air compressor outside, and it's running right now. But they do go through a lot of air. A little air compressor will do it. It just takes longer because you have to keep waiting for the air to build back up. Another thing is, guys, just be safe. The nitrous is so cold. It burns you so easy. I've got plenty of scars on my hands from the nitrous burning me, learning and not taking it seriously enough. But at the end of the day, it's fun. It's not that hard. And just remember, nitrous don't blow up motor. People blow up motors. So with that, be safe. Like, subscribe. Thanks for watching.